All right, welcome. We're good. We're good. 10 seconds until 6 o'clock. We're good. It's 6 o'clock now. We're starting the stream. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Cat wants to be pet. Do that. But here we are. Here we are. Welcome. Thanks for coming back around. We have some things to talk about today. We'll get into the lead topic, the main topic, a little bit later on. But as always, just happy to hang out with you folks and chat about pretty much anything you want. I think I think there was one time, maybe one time on a stream ever, where there was a topic introduced that I was like, no, I'm not going to talk about that. And for good reason. But beyond that, I don't think we've ever had that. I don't think we've ever had trolling or anything. Didn't jinx myself, huh? Is jinx going to be eventually revealed as an offensive term of some kind? I know the Pokemon jinx is. We don't, we don't have to go into that right now. Sorry, my hand touched hot peppers and then I decided to touch part of my eye, so we get to have that go. Maybe I'll add some spice. Ugo, welcome back. Ugo says it's a trap? Question mark? Is it the stream in general? For me saying that we haven't had trolls or any weirdness on the streams? If it's just a reference, I'm okay with that too. But how have you been doing, Ugo? I feel like I haven't seen you for a couple weeks. Doing all right? Launching into holiday season time? John? I don't think so. Jinx is very gender and racially neutral law. I'm happy to hear it. Also, welcome, John. How's it going? How are you doing? But yeah, the Pokemon, we don't need to. Pokemon Jinx is more than canceled, I think. I think they're ready to, like, scrub that Pokemon from the canon, basically, by this point. But this is what... Okay. You happy? Okay. We're good. I've been good, and yourself? I've been doing all right. I mean, just working a lot, so I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy doing that, but I'm here. I also apologize. I have been planning to get another video up on the channel and just haven't. It's my fault. I'm not gonna, come up with any excuse. Haven't done that yet. I was considering doing a Spider-Verse video. It feels kind of redundant at this point, unless I can find some kind of really solid angle to come at this from. I don't know if I will, but it'll certainly come up in the discussion today, getting into some of the best animated movies from the year. Even though it is a little bit premature, we're not quite there, and there are still maybe 2 heavy hitters left, as far as I know. There's a couple other movies, at least in terms of sort of mainstream, family, adult-friendly animation stuff. There are still a couple more. At least here in the US, they have not released yet. So there's more. There's stuff. There's stuff to talk about. John says, I'm okay. This is actually a side account I really use. That's why I don't usually show up on your streams. Malcolm elsewhere. Oh, hey, Malcolm. I'm sure we've talked before, right? So anyway, welcome back. Thank you. Ugo says, like the term cakewalk. Are you saying that's also like a secretly offensive term? Or not so secretly anymore? John says, I'm actually doing schoolwork due tonight, so I won't be commenting as much. Don't worry about it. It's cool. If you feel like lurking, that is more than okay with me. And YouTube likes it when people lurk too. If there's watch time at all, YouTube is totally fine. Hugo says, what kind of school are you Oh, sorry. That's a question for John. I'll leave it there. But yeah, let's see. What I did talk a little bit about Spider-Verse last week, because that's when I watched it. And then a fun, not even a story, a little anecdote is that I watched at a friend's place. I wanted to come home and watch it again a few more times, and I have a decent OLED TV, and knowing that the movie would be in HDR, 4K and all that stuff, I really want to watch Spider-Verse again on my TV. That would be nice. So I said, okay, well, I dropped Netflix a while back. why not? Why not sign up? Maybe if I can get another trial, or maybe I'll just do it for a month or something and hop back off. But that's when I saw the new rates, and specifically the plan that I would have really wanted that has 4K and HDR and all that stuff is now $23 a month. And when I saw that, I swear I was halfway through the sign up process, right? And I was committed. I was like, oh, I'm totally going to go through with this. When I saw the price, I started laughing, and I don't think I stopped laughing for the next 5 minutes. Like, and that, not an exaggeration. I'm not just picking like a nice round number. It was 5 minutes of just like trying to do other things and moving on with my day, and I just couldn't stop laughing. I that $23. $23. Adding like a $10 a month subscription to your pile of subscriptions is like, like you'll hear the boards creak, but you're like, okay, I think I can stomach it. I think I can make this work. Adding a $23 subscription per month to your stack is like, it's like a bombshell. Just like, no, at least for me, no, I am not going to do that. So at this point, I might just buy a copy of the movie, like on disc. I that's just wild to me, and I want to watch the rest of the Scott Pilgrim anime, which I think I've only seen 2 or 3 episodes of, um, and I have my thoughts, but still I want to finish it. It's only 8 episodes, but obviously that's Netflix exclusive. Dawn of the Nugget, which will certainly be one of the contenders. I guess it's already on the screen. Thought I was gonna hide this, but I didn't. Um, is also a Netflix movie. As far as I know, it's going to be Netflix, right? Dawn of the Nugget. Um, so I don't know. I just there is plenty there to convince me to continue having Netflix in some form, or to have me desire access to Netflix. And still, $23 a month. My gosh, I don't know. I hope I don't sound too much like a cheapskate, but that is, as a subscription, my God, that's like roughly half of what Adobe is charging, right, per month for the entire Creative Suite. They used to call the Creative. Wild, absolutely wild. It's only gonna get worse. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Anyway, on theory, for the film Blue Velvet, also digital studies. Not a secret. Is a bad race cakewalk is a racist term? Okay, well then, I didn't know that, but thank you for letting me know. I'll keep that in mind. Not that I really find myself using that term, you know. Films on this list I've seen as of writing: Mutant Mayhem, Spider-Verse, Nimona. Cool. I'm glad you saw Mutant Mayhem. Feel free to share any thoughts. Sorry again if it doesn't like take away. Busy with stuff. You can focus on that. But that is one that I briefly really wanted to see in the theater specifically, and it just didn't happen. I'm also not like a huge TMNT guy. I've never been a big time fan, so I was maybe lacking the motivation to actually go. Well, clearly I was, but no, it visually looks very interesting. And yeah, I guess I can also. Well, I'll run down soon enough which of those movies I have seen on the list there, and there are definitely more. Like if there's other stuff you guys want to add, let me know. Also, this is going to be fun. Is the Cartoon Brew roundup from end of last year. Looking forward to movies set to release in 2023. And long story short, I went through that. I was shocked to realize I hadn't heard of many of them. Leo, the Adam Sandler family comedy, which I did not think was. Scores the biggest debut ever for Netflix animated film, which I guess just boils down to viewership numbers, right? I'm invited to a special screening of Nimona. Is this person? Oh, cool. LA. Where is it? Netflix Home Theater, which I've never heard of. Is that like a renamed? Is that a different theater that was renamed? Free concessions? Are you kidding me? It's not a free. It's not a free RSVP, is it? Oh. Uh-oh. Which of these could we get away with? Do I need to have an affiliation? I guess so, huh? Oh. Should I? Did I just say I'm from CalArts? What is this? Do it and your family. That stuff. This is interesting. I might have to come back to this. We'll see. I mean, I did watch Nimona. I made a video about it, I think. Right? Yeah, it was in one of the roundups, I think, right? Okay. I still don't know where this is. Where is that? Search. Let's see. If it's by the 101, I think Netflix has like a building over here. But no, I have never. 3 stars. So it could just be part of their corporate complex, I would assume. But yeah, I mean it's not terribly far. Sorry, let me also. That don't want that. There. Give me the clock themes here for Animal Crossing. The times would be great. No, I don't want by bees. Come on, guys. Rainy day. My gosh. Sorry, let me get caught up here. Josh says Mutant Mayhem was cool. Also not a huge TMNT fan, but I really enjoyed it in the theater. Nice style, reminiscent of notebook drawings. The best X-Men movie in over a decade, if that confuses you. You'll know what that means when you see it. Well, that does confuse me. It's about the themes. Ah, okay. And Ugo says from TMNT, I like the part when they play Four Non-Blondes, What's Up? Classic. Classic. I feel like for a while that was an ironic classic, but I think it's made the turn as well. It's come back around. Anyway, so I might have to sign up with my personal information not on the stream, but yeah. Not guaranteed. But yeah, that sounds like fun. Anyway, okay. Was there anything else I needed or I wanted to address? Oh yeah. Also cool that you're writing about Blue Velvet. Of course. I mean, it's a whole thing, isn't it? Blue Velvet. My gosh, I don't know if you ever looked into some of Isabella Rossellini's later work, and I don't know that she's still working now. I don't know. But for a good long while, I think in the early 2000s, she did a educational video series / performance art series called Green Porno, which was about how different animals and insects procreate, complete with like elaborate but also janky costumes that she was dressed up in. She starred in this. Is maybe the only on-screen talent for the whole thing. Okay. All right. Okay. Animal Crossing playlist. I just. I mean, this is. Here we go. Here are the times. Wow. Who says the music syncs up with the scene? Very good. I'm happy to hear it. Yeah, no, I would like to see it. Is that one streaming anywhere? The TMNT movie? I would figure not. I feel like that was pretty recent that they, if it is on streaming, it's for what, like $25 to rent or something like that. Anyway, is there any other animation news? Not really. Uh, I do. We'll briefly look at this upcoming anime stuff to see if there's something else we should include in the list here. This is sort of unfortunate. There's a great, what I hope is a great interview with some of the team behind Trolls 3, 4. I feel, isn't it Troll? I don't know. Either way, it looks like most of them were on like bad laptop webcams with lighting of unfortunate quality, which is a shame. That always, very brief tangent, I promise, but that always really bothered me during the pandemic days when all of a sudden, especially like celebrity press junket interviews were all done, virtually. And so you would just have celebrities in their very nice homes. And they're just on like a laptop camera, a webcam thing, and obviously a laptop microphone, or if they had a separate microphone, they would get terrible room noise. And I was like, can no one help them? Like, can someone like explain? I don't know, the basics of lighting yourself and recording your. I don't know. I guess they have other people to do that most of the time, and they weren't around. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Ugo says TMNT is able to stream with Paramount Plus. Okay, I mean, I don't have it. I'm not going to get Paramount Plus, but I guess that is good to know. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, let's very briefly look at some of the movies yet to come out for the rest of this year. What was that clip? What If Season 2. Okay. Diary of a Wimpy Kid Christmas special. Okay, well, I'm not, shoving that aside, but as a Christmas special, it's not going to. I don't think we're talking about Oscar noms here. Jonathan Nugget, obviously, we talked about. Pokemon Concierge. Now, I wish I could watch this trailer live on the stream here, but there's no way. There's absolutely no way that they let me do that. Pokemon and even Netflix, they're pretty ruthless. Copyright. Okay, so yeah, it's stop motion. What are these skips? No, unacceptable. It has to be the soundtrack. Unacceptable. We're not doing that. Okay. Not until December 28th. So again, we're not talking about Oscar stuff there. But people have been very complimentary, I think, of how this looks overall so far. Stop. I want to watch it over here. On mute, I guess. Save up to $66 on YouTube TV. Wow. Okay. Does it tell us who the studio is? That's sort of Dwarf Studios. It's doing this stop motion Pokemon project. And we're on one of the islands, and there are things happening. There are Pokemon involved. So is she working at the hotel? Is it a hotel for Pokemon? I guess audio would really help here. Anyway, again, not until December 28th, so we are not going to. That's not really part of the discussion. And it's a series, right? So we're not even talking about features anymore. Not super familiar with this one, but we have the Super Mario Brothers movie is coming to streaming. That's why they're mentioning it here. I guess it's going to Netflix. Yeah. Right. Much better than much bitter. That's a typo that I agree with, but I don't think it. Sorry, I'm gonna try to pull up my own music that doesn't have these horrible skips and sounds. I apologize for those noises. Where do I have those? Here? There. Here we go. Yeah, good enough. This, just a moment. Ooh, that was a pretty good trade-off. No. Are we good? Cool. I feel much better about this. Sorry, let me check my levels real quick. Very quiet. There we go. Okay. Okay, Ugo says on Trolls OST, one song is credited with to NSYNC and Justin Timberlake. Yep. Yeah, I saw that in one of the trailers. One of the more recent trailers was like, oh, by the way, we have the first new NSYNC single in what, maybe 20 years? Not 20, but close to it. What is this? Merry Little Batman. I don't. It's a Christmas thing. Giggle Bug. I'm not familiar with. Honestly, from this art here, I almost thought Small Boo and Batman Spider-Man, which is now a deep cut, I guess. Anyway, there's that. What is this? It may not be animated, but fans won't want to miss the theatrical version. Theatrical version doesn't mean here what I think they think it means. A theatrical version is a theatrical cut. They mean like a live theater adaptation of Spirited Away, which also sounds like a bad idea. But it's been met with praise from critics. 2 recordings, each with a different lead actress. Okay, that's very odd. Very, very odd. And no, it's not animated, so again, not super useful. And apparently there's a Baby Shark movie coming out on December 8th, and I'm sorry, but I don't think it's going to be getting awards, nods. Here. Hugo says, I find it funny that Justin has his name credited twice for this song. Yeah, technically, right. Unless at some point, you know, maybe when he embarked on a solo career, he even legally, he set it up so that he was no longer considered, you know, part of the entity NSYNC. That's possible. And obviously for, you know, modern day, it makes sense that he would want to be credited separately. Very funny situation overall, and now the music's too loud. Okay. All right. Okay, so I Dawn of the Nugget I have here in its own little section, and I guess I should also put The Boy and the Heron down here too, because it hasn't released in the US yet. But my god, if the what do we even call it, release schedule or just the release campaign for that movie, The Boy and the Heron, it just screams we won an Oscar so bad. And they have a very good shot of taking the Oscar for Best Animated Feature just because it is a Miyazaki movie. Just because it is a Miyazaki-directed Ghibli movie. That's it. That's all they need. That is really all they need to win that. I don't know. I haven't heard whether or not Miyazaki plans for this to be his last directed feature. I don't know. Anyway, that doesn't come out until the 7th or 8th. Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, the 7th, the night of the 7th, right? That released here in the States. But yeah, previously it toured most of the major film festivals, as far as I can tell. And generally, when a distributor releases a movie very late in the year, specifically in December, it means they want Oscar nomination and awards. they want it to be fresh in the minds of the Academy voters via and capitalize on recency bias. That's when all the Oscar bait stuff comes out. Now, whether or not that is the strategy of Dawn of the Nugget, I don't get that sense. I mean, I could easily see Dawn of the Nugget getting a nomination in the category. But yeah, regardless, these 2 in particular are ones that really none of us can discuss in detail, in terms of the best animated movies of the year, unless you were lucky enough to see one of these movies at some of the film festivals earlier on. I don't know if we have any folks who have been doing that and going to the fancy festivals. Let me know, but it certainly hasn't been my situation. So those are very important to the discussion, but we're not gonna, the details we can't really get into them. Everything else, and Trolls, Trolls 3 or 4. I don't think has released yet, right? No, I think it just released. Was it through Thanksgiving week? I do think that one's out. Okay, and the last thing before we get into the real talk here and try to go down the list as best I can. Always welcoming feedback from you folks. What? Yeah, so this is the article Cartoon Brew posted towards the end of last year, saying, "Hey, here's the big stuff to look out for." It's another good way to try to pick up some things that we might have, left behind, such as the amazing Maurice. Sorry. And sorry, Ugo confirms that Trolls 3 is out. Yes. Cool. Okay. Thank you for verifying. The amazing Maurice, I'm sorry, in terms of impact, I heard nothing about this. I do think I saw a trailer maybe early on, but other than that, nothing. Nothing. I haven't heard people talking about it since. I haven't seen any big video essays go out about this movie. They did include Baby Shark's big movie, which is yet to release. Same with Dawn of the Nugget, blah, blah, blah. We talked about it. Elemental is honestly one that I would have forgotten about. Now, for one reason, I still haven't watched it, and I would like to. I really, really would. And I will. But I just would have forgotten about it again because of the lack of perceived impact on my part. It did have a very strange story, as we've discussed in many previous streams, of initially seeming like a massive box office bomb, and then within a few weeks coming back around to become, if not, one of the top 5% of Pixar releases in terms of box office take globally. Still pretty high up there. Or at the very least, a decent box office take for a Pixar movie in general, or really any big animated feature. So I don't know. It did end up being financially rather successful, as far as I can tell, or at least not a huge disappointment. But again, discussion, discourse. If it's out there, I have not been exposed to it. Certainly, plenty of talk on release, and analysis, consideration of the story and the sort of immigrant background influence and all that. Great stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Will people still remember it? Will the Academy still remember it when it comes time? This is one. I don't know unless someone can pull up footage of me looking at this exact announcement last year. I, for the life of me, cannot remember ever hearing about a sequel to Ernest et Celestine, which the first movie, I love that movie. I made a video about it. I've talked about it plenty of different times. I absolutely love the first movie. It's such a treat. I rewatch it all the time. Did not know, or I did not remember that a sequel was coming out. And again, I have not heard anything about it since. I would love to watch it, so I'll have to go and look for it, I guess, after this stream is wrapped up. Fixed. Okay, so this is the adult animation movie set for release. We did talk about it on a previous stream. It's a Gendy directed movie, stepping away from Hotel Transylvania for a bit. Is it out yet? I don't know. Do people like it? I don't know. Ladybug and Cat Noir, I feel like people have sort of sideways recommended this one to me. It is on Netflix, I believe. Yes? It didn't have a US distributor at the time. I feel like that landed on Netflix. I remember seeing at least promo images for that one. Um, yeah, okay, little no, I'm sorry. Uh, again, not one I've heard a lot about. If someone wants to tell me I should be including this one on the list, go for it. But otherwise, I think we'll just move along to the Magician's Elephant, which I also am not familiar with at all. Uh, great little image here, little screen cap we got. Interesting. Uh, Netflix? Has it been delayed? For a second, I thought migration was associated with this image, and I was like, wow, maybe I should expect more from migration. But no, migration is the duck movie. Not releasing until the 22nd, so really banking on that being a holiday thing. I don't know. I mean, it's Illumination, inexplicably, children take their parents to those movies all the time. And it results in incredible profits for Illumination. I'm not holding out hope for that to be nominated or for it to make any end of year lists in general. I don't know. Monkey King, people did have a lot of nice things to say about that. You know what? I will add that. I still haven't watched it, so I can't comment too much. But there it is. And yeah, that was a Netflix movie as well. New Gods Yang John. Go with that. 77 million gross. Okay. I mean, not even if that's just the China box, that's not great. Okay. BS just decided. Are we still here? Are we still here? Please let me know. It's still working. YouTube seems to think that we're still here. Are we good? Okay, I'm gonna continue on. Okay. Ugo says yes. Okay, thank you. Good enough. All right. Yeah, Nimona, we will talk about it, and yes, if it gets Oscar stuff. Not that we're just talking about Oscars today. I don't want to imply that, but it definitely does deserve to be in the discussion. Very good. 2023 animated movies. Paw Patrol: The Mighty Movie, I think, has done quite well financially. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, this is like, I'll have to look it up, but yeah, apparently did very well. Not as well as the Mario movie, of course, but there you go. Spellbound, something else, and it's going to Apple. Any original animated feature that heads to Apple TV Plus or whatever they're calling it, I feel like it's just destined to be forgotten. Wolfwalkers is the only exception, to my knowledge. Was it Luck? I think 5 people might have really enjoyed Luck. I didn't see it. I don't have Apple streaming. Okay. There's that. Across the Spider-Verse, yeah, it's included in the discussion. And of course, so is the Mario Brothers movie. I already touched on that. Suzume was one I was actually not aware of. And I guess we can't include it. I mean, it'll get lumped in with just general anime movies, I guess. But it has a pedigree, and we can check reviews too, but it seems like it was well received. Yeah, that came out very early. Okay. Talked about that. Trolls 3. Fine. Is it band together? Yes. Anyway. Under the Boardwalk. Unicorn Wars made a video about, so there's that. Wildwood. Don't know anything. It's from Leica. Stop motion. Did this get delayed? Did this come out? Sorry, I need like 3 other windows here. Simultaneous. Movies. Wish. Yep. The list. Moving on. We're good. Okay. Great. Let's go ahead and check. Let's see if Wildwood movie. Did this come out? No. It is now set for release in 2025. Wow. Okay. So no, a big no on whether it should be part of this conversation. No, absolutely not. Ugo says Paw Patrol the Mighty movie reminds me a lot of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Oh, just the title, you mean? Yeah, I get that. But yeah, let me look up its box office. What did we get? Oh, 192.5 billion is what I've got for the global take as of late November. So that's actually not that good. I think, as usual, there was some press early on about like, oh, it broke this very obscure and specific box office record for, highest grossing movie that was animated partially in Malaysia on weekends in the last 8.5 years, discounting years with leap day. It felt like those kinds of headlines, which ultimately amount to marketing. Ugo clarifies. I mean, like all the trailers and the whole vibe. Oh wow. I have seen the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, of course, multiple times actually, even as an adult. Okay, interesting. I mean, okay, so just team of heroes kind of vibe, and very clear antagonist stuff. I can't say that I'm a huge. I am not a huge Paw Patrol person. It definitely missed me, and I think everyone else of my generation. Yeah. Okay. Was there anything else I wanted to follow up on? The Amazing Maurice. Do we have anything on that? 6.2 on IMDb, 73 on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is on Hulu. Okay. Even the movie poster for both of them. Okay. Fair enough. 2022 movie. We're not talking. It didn't make the cut. All right. It didn't make the cut. We're moving on. Just saw the trailer and the movie poster when I went to the movie theaters. Okay. What were you seeing at the theaters? Were you all that stuff? I haven't been for a little while. I might go to see The Boy and the Heron, although unfortunately, I checked and one of the closest theaters does have IMAX, showings and stuff, and I would kind of really like to see that in IMAX, but I think the tickets were like $25 a pop, and that might be that's more than a month's worth of Netflix. You know what I mean? That's kind of a lot. But I think I will see it. It's fine if it's like a standard screening in a small theater. That's fine by me. I just want to see it soon, and I don't expect it to come to streaming anytime soon at all, especially if it gets Oscars attention, which it will. Okay, all right. So the Marvels movie says, okay. Did you like it? Just a quick take. Did you like it? That's another one with a big U-turn, the opposite kind of U-turn for box office take, where it initially had incredible news, right? It's in one of the biggest opening weekends, blah blah blah, and then it just seems to have flopped financially since then. I don't know. Okay, so how should we do this? I wish I don't think we have enough time to set it up. A tier list would be nice. I know this is not the most compelling visual, but it would be kind of fun to order these, right? Obviously, just based on personal preference. I'm not trying to do Oscars predictions, anything like that. And it could even be fun to try to incorporate the movies that I haven't seen yet and just guess, like, here's where they would probably fall in terms of what I'm into and the best animated movies here. So yeah, let's give that a shot. Someone can think of something else for me to put up on screen while I'm doing this. Let me know. I am short on ideas at the moment. Okay. Ugo says about the Marvels. I like it. give it a 7.5 out of 10. Iman Vellani was the best part. He plays Kamala Khan. Okay, cool. And I assume that's a character they've just introduced here, or were they in the first Marvels? Well, there was one. What was the one with Kumail? Clearly, I haven't seen either. That's not bad. 7.5 out of 10. And that seems pretty in line, I think, with how a lot of other people movie. But yeah, anyway, so I feel like we do have some underrepresentation here of more independent art house flavored animated features. Unicorn Wars is basically the only one here right now. Maybe you could consider Suzume sort of indie. I don't know. It seems like it had plenty of money behind it. I don't know who animated The Monkey King studio that is, but yeah, let's go ahead and take the dive and just start shuffling these around. Ugo says she has a show on Disney Plus. Oh, just that character has a whole show, a whole spinoff already, or before the movie came. Okay. Wow, this is a little tricky. It's tricky both because there are some movies here that I really, really did enjoy, and there are also plenty of movies here that are just mid for me, you know, and there are a lot of mids. And that always makes it a little more difficult to really try to rank. Can I at least blow up the font size here? Format. Too crazy? That looks okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So, okay. We are. Uh, hmm. And here's what I'll do. Uh, uh, this means I haven't watched it, which is gonna be most of them. Okay. All right. That. Okay. Oh, poor Ruby Gilman. I'm including it here for reasons. Okay, so I have seen just a handful, half a handful, of these movies, but we're gonna give it a shot just the same. Uh, okay. About all of you guys, this will be like the waiting room down here, and this is the proper. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. I'm going to put Unicorn Wars towards the top. I don't think it's at the top, but it is definitely it's up there. Feel okay about that. Nimona to me is basically the definition of the middle of the road, just in terms of personal preference. I'm not saying, you know, entire contemporary animation landscape that it's just a mediocre movie. I don't think that's the case. But yeah, in terms of preference, my initial and subsequent reaction to the movie, very middle all the way through. That's just how it is. Okay, I have a feeling Dawn of the Nugget will be towards the top, probably above Unicorn Wars, but that remains to be seen. And I'm just gonna go ahead and guess that Boy and the Heron maybe tied. You know, maybe we'll say it's like basically the same slot as Dawn of the Nugget. Let's do that. Yeah, because I honestly can't say. I have a feeling I'll have more fun with Dawn of the Nugget, but there also seems to be plenty of visual spectacle going on in just based on the trailers. So I will leave that there for now. Mutant Mayhem will also probably be towards the top. And just based on reception, I'm going to say that Ruby Gillman is below average. It's probably a very good looking movie. Uh, but but how it performed and again impact. You know, looking past my own preferences here, I do think there is worth considering how much of an effect it had on Asian fans, general audiences, you know, filmmaking discourse, media discourse, all that stuff. And Ruby Goen just went nowhere. I didn't even see people dogpiling. I really didn't. You would think, you know, typically when any movie does really poorly, either critically or financially, people are more than ready to pile on and say, yeah, this is junk. This is a total disaster. Here's my uh, uninformed speculation as to why that happened. Uh, but at least I'm guessing that plenty of the criticism it did receive is well founded. Probably not a terrible movie, but it certainly wasn't. It didn't stand out as something special. So there we go. Suzume, honestly, I'm sorry. I just, based on what I've seen of it, just some trailers and synopses and things like that, I feel like it'll also be general mid. Yeah. Yeah, probably. Okay. Sorry. Trying to figure out how to make Notepad somewhat visual. Top, mid, nah. Okay. What else we got? Wish has been interesting so far. John says it wasn't advertised a lot, so it wasn't on people's radar. Referring to Ruby Gillman specifically. I mean, that's absolutely true. And as some of the who was it? Was it one of the DreamWorks heads said after the fact? Like, oh no, or maybe it was maybe it was another studio head saying like, yeah, based on Ruby Gillman. Original work, like, you know, original work with a character that doesn't have name recognition is death or something, which I think is an overly cynical view. But it is certainly a factor, like especially in a landscape where you have recognizable properties or recognizable creatives behind the scenes, as is here. It's difficult, especially with younger viewers. I just don't think, you know, they've become accustomed to, oh, I know what Mario is. I want to see that. And they haven't stopped showing me commercials for it on my favorite Coco Milan videos. Kind of felt the same way with Elemental, right? Do you guys feel that way? Just like the advertising. I know there was an initial teaser, of course, and Pixar teasers are always exciting in and of themselves, just because you have no idea. You legitimately have absolutely no idea what they're going to be doing next. You know it'll be a Pixar movie. It will feel like a Pixar movie, but in terms of characters and world, all that, you don't know. But I really didn't feel like there was much follow-up. I didn't see a ton of advertising in the run-up to that, other than, honestly, a lot of the movie advertising I see nowadays is physical print ads and billboards, since I live in like a kind of a busy part of Hollywood. So they put up massive ads specifically for commuters going to Burbank or coming from Burbank to LA. So you specifically are targeting a lot of industry people. Tons of ads. So there were huge ads for Elemental briefly, but that was about. Now it's Trolls. Trolls is over there. What else? Wonka has a bunch of big ones, of course. Yeah. Hugo says, I have not seen Ruby Going, but it's on streaming. It's streaming on Peacock. Also one that I don't have, but maybe I can swing that somehow. Came out during the writer's strike. Ruby Gillman did? Right, but it was written by then, right? Oh, John says it was Paramount. Oh, Paramount, not Peacock. Okay. Gotcha. And John also says one of the execs there said that, maybe on DreamWorks, but someone in animation there called them out. Good. Good. Yeah, no, I mean, for very obvious reasons, I disagree with that view that, like, if it's original work, you're dead in the water. It's just not true. Like, even, even if we just look at Elemental, obviously, again, not a massive box office success. It was not able to overcome the aggressively generic quality of the Mario movie. It still did very well and was received positively, certainly by critics. Was I going to say anything about Wish? Oh, yeah, well, just briefly. I think it was last week that we looked at just sort of a summary of critic and audience reactions, probably via Rotten Tomatoes. And the headline there is critics don't like it, audiences seem to like it just fine. You know, they're getting what they expect from it, so they're like, yeah, thumbs up, it's whatever. I paid to see a movie, I saw a Disney movie, and I'm going home, you know? Yeah. Ugo says Elemental was marketed as a love story like Romeo and Juliet, and I think this turned off a lot of people. I do agree, at least from that initial trailer, that it came off as like, okay, this is some weird rom-com. But as I've since heard, of course, it's not really. Kind of a misdirection, maybe? John says Elemental was interesting because it didn't make $1 billion during its opening weekend, which is what the public now expects every Pixar film to do. Yeah, or at the very least, they expect every Pixar movie to have, again, impact, right? They expect it to review very well, and that it also makes a lot of money, and that it makes money quickly. But I don't know if they expect an immediate smash hit, especially, you know, in the post golden age of Pixar. But yeah, no, it took a long time for that one to funny. John says, so Alex and everyone prematurely declared it a bomb. Yes, absolutely. Though, unlike Ruby Gillman, Pixar decided to keep it in theaters anyway and let good word of mouth spread, which it did. They eventually won out. I agree. Elemental did extremely well in South Korea and other Asian countries. Wow, I did not have that data. I have not heard that specifically, but that is a very interesting point to add to the conversation. Yeah, and it's one I will watch. I promise. In fact, you know, I don't know how committed everyone feels to this idea, but if we want, this is something we used to do a million years ago with the streams, because it was kind of an animation book club without the books. If we want to see how many of these we can watch within the next week, I think I would be down. We won't be able to see the Miyazaki movie yet. That will be after the next stream. But I feel like, yeah, between the streaming services and free trials, I think I could get through a good number of these. So maybe we'll try that. That could be kind of fun. And maybe a day at the theater. I don't know. Haven't done that in a very long time. Yeah, that could be fun. I don't know. Just putting it out there. That could be good. John says, regarding the last comment, doing well in South Korea and other Asian countries, which is saying something considering it is an original movie, original in that it's not based off of an IP. Absolutely, right. So, like, if you want an immediate... If you want an immediate counterpoint... Thank you. I think it's delivery. If you want an immediate counterpoint to the Ruby Gillman discussion at the business level, you know, like, oh, it's just not worth us. It's not worth it for us to invest in properties that don't have the name recognition. They don't have the branding already established. There it is. Yeah, absolutely. Elemental is a great counterpoint to that. And just going out on a limb, I don't know. It did feel like Elemental had more substance than, say, the Mario movie. I don't know. That's personal bias. Also kind of felt like it has more substance than Wish, but we'll see. I have to actually watch the movies and compare. Ugo says, do you remember the name of the Iraqi that introduced us to Alberto Vasquez? The call that made Unicorn Wars? Yeah, that's the guy who made Unicorn. Forgot his name. I'm sorry. Do you mean a viewer, a chatter, who told us about Alberto Vasquez? I believe he was Irani, I think. Um, but I know exactly who you're talking about. I don't want to say his name. I think his username, real name. I don't want to broadcast that. And I think I talked to him maybe once or twice after he stopped coming to the stream through other channel stuff. Um, Hope he's doing well. He was great to have in the chat too. Um, but yeah, was it through Bird Boy? Is that how we got onto the Vasquez stuff? And yeah, sorry, I haven't even gotten to. I haven't even gotten to. Well, no, I did. I don't know. I made the video about Unicorn Wars. I don't feel compelled to drone on about it much further. But again, it really is some scant representation for the weirdo art house stuff in this collection here so far. John says, "Yeah, people there really connected with the story about being an immigrant and living up to the expectations of parents." Yeah, no, I totally get that. I would be interested to see purely in box office terms how Turning Red did in various Asian countries as well. I mean, clearly it's very similar themes there, at least on that level. I don't think Turning Red leaned quite as heavily into the. Well, no, I do think the immigrant component is part of that too. Anyway, I'm just saying they're different stories, but there is some overlap in terms of theming, motifs, I guess. But yeah, I would be interested to see how that performs. Just again, financially, you know. Okay. What else we got? Hugo says, yes, this is all the way back on like 3 years ago with Bird Boy. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I hope he's doing well. You know, but whenever someone drops away from the streams, like it's fine. You know, I don't wonder too much about it, and I you know, try to get people to come back around, especially with the times, right? Even just the time, I pick for a stream or a streaming schedule. There are always people getting left out, unfortunately, and most of the rest of the world is either asleep when I'm streaming or is in the middle of their next day, Um, so there's always a trade-off. This is just what works with my work schedule. But anyway, but yeah, no, and in general, always thankful for people to introduce me to new work. Every stream is a recommendation stream, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, Vasquez is continues to be a really interesting figure in independent animation and just adult animation, I guess. But yeah, okay. Let's see. Let's. What else can we do here? Pick up the pace. Just guessing at Elemental again. I will say Elemental is like top category, but probably not top. There's that. That's where it'll stay for now. Well, TMNT though. I feel like it'll be over TMNT just for substance and the Pixar, heartstrings. I'm assuming, but not sure if it will be as interesting as Unicorn Wars. Just a guess. I mean, it's more about not being in the demographic, for that. But there's that. Trolls 3. If you've been in any of the recent streams, you know that I'm actually like I've very much warmed up to the Trolls movie, so I'm kind of expecting to like that movie. I might not, but we have yet to find out. Monkey King, I continued to hear really good things about. I believe it'll probably be mid for me, more so based on like art direction and animation style. I think that is really just based off of the trip, but where I'm putting it. Suzume, no idea. Wait, didn't I put Suzume there already? Yeah, forget that then. Worry about that. And yeah, I don't know about this. It feels wrong just because of how obvious it seems. And maybe it's not. Maybe that's a too easy an answer. to what was my favorite animated movie of 2023, especially because I've just watched it. I did not see it in the theater. I just watched it for the first time within the last week. Um, so that feels shaky, but facts are facts. It's just very good. It's very good. The only if we transition this briefly to, sort of Oscars, I am a little hesitant to say that Across the Spider-Verse is a shoe-in for a lot of the Oscar categories. Maybe some of the more technical categories, it still is a shoe-in, but in terms of best animated feature, something like that, no. It's still a very strong contender. Could take it, but uh, bouncing also to over to video games for a second, it's the situation where this year we have the Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, and we have sequel to Spider-Verse. Now, both of those, the first entry of both of those series, you know what I mean, really blew everybody away, and rightfully so. They took a bunch of awards and got a huge amount of praise. And the sequel can just never be as impactful. Just because of the loss of the novelty, right? So I am not saying that Tears of the Kingdom or Across the Spider-Verse are bad because they share plenty of the same DNA as the first, each of their respective first entries. And they have to also, they have to share that DNA, or else it wouldn't actually be a sequel. It would just be some weird spinoff. I just don't know. I don't know if other people or if Academy people are going to be as thrilled, by Spider-Verse this time around. Yes, it is an expansion. Yes, it is an evolution. It's an incredible evolution of the first movie, and just effort all the way throughout. Just incredible effort and artistry. But it's another Spider-Verse movie. Even the titles, I think, are bad. This Across the Spider-Verse could be the title of either the first or the second movie. There is no distinction. It's like Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. Neither of those suggests being the first or the second one. It's just kind of meaningless. Anyway, it's still up there. It's got to be. Yeah. And for me personally, it Across the Spider-Verse will absolutely stay very near towards the top if it does not take the top slot. Definitely. Thing is, both of these movies here have a very good chance of taking over. And that makes this kind of exciting too. There are a lot of wild cards here. This could completely change. We'll see. Uga says Monkey King is made by the same studio that made Over the Moon. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've talked about Over the Moon. That just in case I haven't, that's a movie that I really don't want to dislike. It's a movie I don't really want to criticize. But it's also a movie that I hated when I watched it. Like, I could not stand that movie. I just hated that movie. It was really on no level was it my thing, and that's probably part of why I didn't really want to talk about it too much or make a video or that. I just like, what's the point if it really just does come down to personal preference? Why even put that on other people, especially when so many people seem to love that movie. Okay. Yeah. Did anything be shuffled here? Also, again, if you guys have anything that I should add, let me know. Or if you just completely disagree with where I'm putting things right now, go for it. Elemental could very well beat out Unicorn, I think. Unicorn Wars is a great looking movie, and the subject matter is very worthy. You know, it's the kind of thing that art talks about, but the execution wasn't my favorite thing. Uh, so look at this. Elemental, without having seen it, is steadily moving up the ranks here. Are you having a bad dream? Okay. Okay. Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, and honestly, mid is very fluid right now. For one thing, I've only seen one of these movies. But beyond that, I just, again, total wild cards. Maybe I would love Suzume. I could absolutely hate it. I have to double check that movie's director, and maybe I should. What do we got here? Suzume movie. Director is Makoto Shinkai. Yes. Okay. So Shinkai directed Your Name, which continues to be incredibly well loved, right? I did watch it at one point and was not thrilled. A very good looking movie, um, but not my. Also, look at how many of these. Oh my gosh, look at this. Do all of these uh, posters have a boy, a girl, boy, girl, and then just landscape, boy, girl? Okay. I mean, as far as I can tell. Sorry if I'm. I hope I'm not misgendering any little thumbnail, but it does seem like all of these things are at least a certain way. Ugo says, "What about Pinocchio?" and says, "Sorry, that came out in 20." Yes, exactly. Actually, yeah, that was December, right? Because again, that was another very Oscar baity movie, or that's how it felt. And I love that movie too. Like if I was, it would be unfair, but if I were gonna slot that into this list here, it would certainly be in the top category at the very. I really like that movie. Not you know, not mind blowing in terms of overall effect, but still really, really, really great. And the inclusion of Desplat like musical numbers was wonderful. I still listen to plenty of that music all the time, but I really like Desplat. I've listened to a lot of his scores regular. Yeah. Makoto Shinkai keeps making the same movie just in a slightly different backdrop. I mean, maybe that's just that's unfair, for me to say. But well, who else was that? Who's the Oh shoot, who's the director of Summer Wars and that Digimon movie and Mirai? Because that was another one where people were like, "Oh, Summer Wars is basically exactly the same as this one Digimon movie that he directed before or after Summer Wars." I love Summer Wars though. Anyway, so yeah, this seems sort of stereotypically anime to me, and I don't know. I don't know where it will land, but if it is available for streaming, I'll give it a shot. Okay. Yeah, and Nimona I do think is solidly mid for just yeah. It let me down a little bit. Another really great looking movie, but yeah, not too much of a lasting effect. Um okay. And I mean again, like as always, both of these movies are just movies that are really not meant for me. And so it's not surprising that they don't really work for me, and it's almost not worth me talking about. It's certainly not worth me critiquing. I wonder how my video. I feel like my video on the Mario movie did not do well. Like most of the stuff, I don't. But I have no idea what the reaction was because I stopped checking, like, dislike, and comment stuff a very long time, which is probably to my own detriment. Also, a self-defense thing. um, but yeah, have not seen Paw Patrol. That's one I probably will not end up watching. If I do cover a lot of these in the next week, I probably won't get to Paw Patrol. And if I'm being honest, I don't think it'll make really any end of the year lists for other, animation fans, animation YouTube people, etc. Ugo says I'm not the first person that said that. Oh, okay, so is it real? Oh gosh. I mean, would we not say the same thing of Wes Anderson? I mean, well, visually, so much. But when it's also at the conceptual level, I don't know. Harder for me. And it really does seem like the same story in essence. Top 5 Makoto movie. How many has he made? 6? 7? Ugo says, I did not like Nimona the movie, but I really like Nimona the person. She was the best part of the movie. She's certainly the only... Well, I won't say the only character I remember, but she's the most memorable character. Of course. I do remember our lead, though not his name. And I do remember the twist antagonist, though not their name. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was not was not really my thing. Again, there's the whole video if you want some more. But yeah, just not for me, and didn't really stick the landing. And oh yeah, and I especially hated how they handled the NPCs in that movie, just the general public, because they are ultimately a pretty important part of the movie's messaging in Nimona. And they really did just come across as sheeple, which works to the advantage of the initial story beats. It does not work to the advantage of the evolution of the movie. But yeah, visually fantastic. I love how Nimona looks. Good job, team, and also just the embattled history of that story. Right? Isn't Nimona the one that was a Blue Sky project and then talked about? But yeah, Blue Sky got sold off and killed by Disney. But before they got killed, Disney said, "We don't want you to make that." Just no, we don't want the stuff. No good. We just so it gets sympathy for that just automatically. And it's not a bad movie. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie here in the list. It's, yeah, not incredible, I guess. Ugo says, I also don't remember the lead's name, but I remember that guy was so dumb. He gets gaslit to dislike Nimona. And I was like, dude, come on. You were in the room. You were recording the video. Oh, there's so much. Well, especially even just that character's background, because that character's whole thing is like, oh, worked his way up and then gets sabotaged via public opinion, basically. He gets canceled unfairly, right? So you would kind of figure he would be more loyal to his friends, or maybe they're going with the angle of like he had that trauma in his past, and so he would also be quick to abandon people based on essentially public opinion again. I don't know. It was for the sake of the story beat, though, right? Like that's not because I don't know. Not a strong character. if we can't remember his name, and if he didn't really seem to have any strong character traits, ew, you know? Alan says, hi, did you get a chance to watch Frank Helda's Book of Spooks? Oh, not yet. Thank you for reminding me. Because that's Max, right? I think so. Yeah, so I don't have it yet. I don't know if you were here earlier in the stream, but I was talking about thinking about getting Netflix back for one thing, and was totally scared off by the price. And yes, it is on Max, so that's another one that I don't have anymore for streaming. But I'm sure there's a way I can watch it, or I could do maybe another trial. But thank you so much. I do have it on my I have like a massive list of recommendations people have given me over time in another notepad doc, actually. It's there and it's towards the top. I think it looks really good, but yeah, I haven't watched it yet. And Alan also says, speaking of Netflix, did you hear about their new animated movie Leo? Yes, haven't watched it yet. Have you seen it, Alan? And if you have, please let us know your thoughts. But yeah, I touched on it earlier in the stream, and I think I was introduced to it on the stream previously. Well, Adam Sandler movie, family comedy, Class Lizard, right? Class Lizard goes on adventure. Is that the gist? I saw a poster for it on the street. So that's pretty much marketing saturation for me. But yeah, not yet. But it seems to be very successful. I mean, the headline earlier on was that it's the most successful. Yeah, here we go. The biggest debut ever for a Netflix animated film. Let's see how they define that. 34.6 million views. And is that just in the weekend? No, first 6 days. Okay. I don't know why they're telling us hours viewed. Most viewed title across the surface. Okay. The biggest original animated feature is The Sea Beast. Shocking. Yes. Ugo says Leo is about a classroom pet that is about to retire, but first must help a bunch of kids. Help a bunch of kids out right before he retires. Okay. Okay. I don't think I watched the trailer. Leo had a float in the parade? 82% critic score. That's much higher than Wish. Last I checked, Wish was at 50% critic score. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, well, again, I don't have Netflix. I'll try. Maybe a friend will let me hop into their Netflix a bit for this to finish Scott Pilgrim and whatever else. A Nimona rewatch? Probably not, but still. Yeah. So Leo's also up in the air. Haven't seen it. And honestly, I don't know. I'm usually not very big into Adam Sandler stuff in general. And when he tries to do like kid-oriented stuff, well, for whatever reason, Bedtime Stories was a favorite. I don't remember how old I was at the time, maybe like a tween. But when Bedtime Stories came out, we actually liked that one and rewatched it a number of times. And I can't really tell you why. But we did watch that quite a bit. So who knows? Maybe, but yeah, I have been a little bit surprised by the positive reception so far. And hey, like to a certain point, you can't argue with the numbers, right? On their own, 34.6 million views for a streaming movie. It doesn't mean much without the context. And we don't have the context, of course. A lot of streaming services don't release viewership numbers for specific projects or in general. But the fact that it ranks so highly on Netflix itself, which continues to be very popular, even if it is sort of kind of declining, is a thing. It's still a thing, and it's worth considering. Alan says, yes, I have seen it. I really like the tone of the movie. It speaks to children in a more real way, not treating them like fools. It has some parts of a musical, like a Disney. Oh, so they're like whole musical numbers in here? That's surprising to hear. That's very surprising to hear. But I am happy, the musical part. I am happy to hear that you enjoyed it overall. That's great. That's great. But yeah, and the idea of it like treating kids more, I'm interpreting what you said as it's treating kids more respectfully than plenty of movies tend to do. But yeah, we can try to give it a look. Hugo says they're telling you hours view due to the fact that if you click on it counts as a view. Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I was kind of assuming that most people would finish it, but that's probably not a fair assumption. And we could even run that math, right? Like if we know the runtime in hours and divide by views or the other way. Sorry, it's been a while since part of my but we could work that out, right? Like the average view time. I think we could just from data. If you only watch for 15 minutes, they might cancel the show if no one finishes it. Yeah, gotcha. Ugo says this has been one of the reasons they cancel shows. Many people don't finish the episodes. It's also why plenty of my videos don't go anywhere. Aside from turning off ads, but yeah, the watch time is a huge consideration for YouTube, and yeah, as you say, I can guarantee it's a big factor for plenty of streaming services. Yeah, they want continued engagement. They don't just want clicks. Clicks used to have more meaning when it was the blogosphere, and we were talking about like ad impressions and click through rates and stuff like that. It does not really apply to the video content unless it's such short form video content, TikTok, where it almost doesn't matter. A click is basically a full view if it's 5 seconds long. Yeah. Anyway, Alan says most songs are short. I actually liked it. It was very entertaining. That's great. I laughed at many jokes. In fact, a good part of those are adult jokes. That's so. It's funny you mentioned that. I really did think. I think it was on one of the other streams, but I really did think it was an adult movie. I think I got it confused with the Gendy Tartakovsky movie about a male dog that's on the way to be fixed, as it were. So somewhere in my mind, or just hearing that Adam Sandler was involved with it at all, despite the fact that he has done other kid stuff, family stuff, I weirdly got the impression that it was an adult comedy, adult animation movie. So that was completely wrong. But as you say, some jokes for the grown-ups in the room, which is not, as I've talked about before, is not uncommon in the history of modern animation at the very least. 90s onwards, that's been a thing. Putting the adult jokes into seemingly just for younger viewers. Yeah. See what else we got. Uga says Shrek 2 had a lot of adult jokes. Or I guess it's jokes that only adults will get. Yeah, totally. I mean, that's my one of my first videos, the Summer Camp Island video. Tempting to talk about that stuff a ton. Just the idea of animated work that cannot be fully categorized as for children or for adults. It's for both groups simultaneously, and it offers distinct things to different viewers, right? This could be fun. Sorry, I feel like I'm starting to wrap up here. It has been quite a while. I'll probably wrap it up relatively soon. As always, if there's anything else, any other recommendations people would like to bring up, or just other things to chat about briefly, go for it. But I want to see this. Apparently, 2 Oscar hopefuls, animated feature category, are free on the Animation Showcase, which is not a service I have ever heard of before, but it's a free streaming platform. That means ads for animation students and industry workers. So can't get it. Nice frame. Okay. Increasingly valuable resource for animation students and anyone working in the industry. This kind of sounds bad. Platform has hosted a huge number of Oscar-qualified shorts. Glee, I did see that. Marcel the Shell with Shoes on. Oh my gosh. We did not talk about Marcel. And I am counting that as an animated movie. And no, I haven't. Oh, well, yeah, but no, I haven't seen it. And I really want to. Oh no. But these movies look cool just based on this little bit of information. So I'll see if I can yeah. If I'm allowed to get that service, then I will, I guess. Ugo says, well, Bugs Bunny was making fun of a Clark Gable movie when he was eating a carrot, and he says, what's up, Doc? Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I mean, and also just straight up adult animation has existed since at least, like, the 30s? I would even argue into the 20s. Maybe from the very beginning, there's been just straight adult animation. You know, like it really wasn't meant for children. But yeah, it's the combination of the two that I usually find most interesting. And yeah, I'm not saying it was brand new in the 90s, but that is certainly when it started to become more common. Basically, with Pixar leading the way. Pixar, and of course, DreamWorks was a big part of it too. And even some of the more slightly comedically adventurous Disney 2D movies, Emperor's New Groove, I would probably put in the category of like adult-friendly animation. But yeah. Alan says the movie's based in 2023. But it did it for Leo, I think, right? We're talking about. It didn't feel cringy modern day kids, maybe except for the product placement, but it wasn't like Wreck-It Ralph 2. That was rough in general. The product placement, I'm not surprised to hear about that for an Adam Sandler movie. That's very much par for the course. But yeah, I'll try. I'll try it. But anyway, if folks are interested in you know coming back to this discussion next week, let me know. Again, I can attempt to catch up on a lot more of these in the next week. A good few of them are within reach. Some won't have released yet, but plenty of them, you know, there are ways. Or I could just go to the theater. So we'll see. But yeah, maybe next time we could revisit, even if just in like a really brief segment, we could revisit some, have a chat, see if any of this stuff has changed. Maybe save this for next time. Cool. But yeah, otherwise, I think I'm just about ready to wrap up. Close to 90 minutes here. Cool. All right. Well, as always, thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody coming out to the stream live, especially you fellas in chat here. Thank you as well to the few dozen folks watching the archive version of the stream later on. Also incredibly helpful. Yeah. That's it. That covers everybody watching the stream. That's all. Yeah. Yeah, anything else? I don't have word on like the next video quite yet. I'll if I can get some progress there within the next week. Yeah, otherwise. Yeah, later on, Alan. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. Cool. All right. Yep, that's all for now. Thanks for